Hello everyone, in this video we will go through review notes for chapter 3.4 to 3.6. In chapter 3.1 through 3.3 we learn about events, sample space and probability, unions and intersections, and complementary events. In chapter 3.4 through 3.6 we also learn about the additive rule and mutually exclusive events, conditional probability, also the multiplicative rules and independent events, and here we will go through these topics briefly. Mutually exclusive events are events that cannot occur at the same time. In other words, if one event happens, the other event or events cannot happen concurrently, so the intersections equals to 0 and have basically nothing in common. The probability that mutually exclusive events A or B happens equals probability of the union of A and B, and basically equals probability that A happens plus probability that B happens. Here's an example. Rolling a six-sided die, the probability of getting either a 2 or 4 is the union of the probability of 2 and 4, and basically is the probability that 2 happens plus probability that 4 happens, and we know for any of these events the probability is 1 over 6. And the overall probability is 1 over 6 plus 1 over 6 for each of these events and equals 1 over 3. The addition rule, also known as the additive rule, basically is the probability of the union of 2 or more events. When events are not mutually exclusive, the general addition rule is the union of A and B equals probability of A happens plus probability that B happens minus the intersections of A and B. And we know when the events are mutually exclusive, the intersection will be 0. Also, independent events are events in which the occurrence of one event does not influence the probability of the other event happening. And probability of A and B happens equals the intersections of A and B, and equals probability of A times probability of B. In other words, the probability of both events A and B occurring is the product of their individual probabilities when they are basically independent. In independent events, the occurrence of one event affects the probability of the other event happening. In this case, the probability of the second event depends on the outcome of the first event. Mathematically, two events A and B are dependent if probability of B given A is not equal the probability of B. And the probability that two events A and B happen, also known as the multiplicative rule, is probability of A times probability of B given A. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video.